What's going on, guys? It's your boy, Retro Tiburon. Sorry, that was really cringy, huh? I was talking to my wife about, you know, I need some kind of intro. Maybe that, it's your boy, Retro Tiburon, but kind of feels a little, like everybody else is already doing that. Make sure you smash that like button. Anyway, I'm gonna do a couple of pickups and some unboxings. So I think we're gonna get to the pickups first. These are some video game pickups and movie pickups. First one, Commando Squad right here. It's a VHS tape. See if I can put it up close right here. Sorry, I have like a ring light. Commando Squad. And I actually watched the movie, so this is a VHS. It stars Brian Thompson, which is the Night Slasher on Cobra. And who's this other lady? Kathy Shower. I've never heard of her, but I actually wound up watching the movie this week. It's essentially kind of like just like every other action movie in the 80s, but it's starring Brian Thompson, which honestly was a little weird because I was a big fan of Cobra growing up, with Stallone. So seeing Brian Thompson as the main protagonist, the hero in the movie, I was like, I don't know. He doesn't strike me as a like as a Stallone or Schwarzenegger. Maybe just because I'm seeing him as a Night Slasher. I don't know. But you can see by the cover, looks super cheesy. The movie itself is, it's like a typical 80s kind of really cheesy action movie. I will say, unlike Stallone and Schwarzenegger, Brian Thompson in this movie gets his ass handed to him a lot. He gets his ass whooped like pretty much throughout the whole movie, and he even has one of his molars extracted by a pair of pliers by one of the bad guys. One of the bad guys being Sid Haig, which was Captain Spaulding, and the Rob Zombie horror movies. So he's in there kind of looking like Skinner from WWF days. So yeah, it was a fun watch. Cheesy watch, but it was a fun watch. Next one is another VHS tape. So really into VHS tapes. This next one, Tag Team Tidal Wave. I don't know if any of you guys remember this, but this one, I don't know if I ever had this one as a kid, but essentially what it is, it's kind of like a before they were stars, kind of like compilation of matches. So in this one, you had like Hogan, Macho Man, you had Ravishing Rick Rude, and Jim the Anvil Neidhart. But they're all matches from like, let me see if I can kind of show you. You can see they're like pre-WWF matches. And I think in this one, yeah, they're like tag matches. So you have like Macho Man and his brother Lanny Poffo versus the Rock and Roll Express. I wonder, is that the one where I think, doesn't Macho Man pile drive like one of the Rock and Roll Express guys through a table? I don't know, maybe Tylord, if you're watching this, But yeah, I remember my dad buying me one of these. Not this one in particular, but I have the Hulk Hogan one, which has this, like, it's the whole cover. His face is the whole cover. But it was, I think he bought it for me like at a pick and save or something, like by MacArthur Park. And yeah, it's not that great because it's like, I think it's like late 70s wrestling, so it's very like slow. From what I remember, it was really grainy. And I remember watching it as a kid. I was like, why is Hulk Hogan a bad guy? because it was like I think matches when Hulk Hogan was still, he was still fairly new, and I think during that time he was wrestling as a bad guy. It was pre Hulkamania. So, anyways, but I got it just because I think the art is like really cool. It's like a hand drawn. They're hand drawn. So I just thought it looked cool. I know my buddy Tylord. He's not a big fan of these movies, of these tapes. I mean, right, and these I picked up. I recently found what do you call it? Antique store, and went in there and one of the little antique shops. It's like almost like it was made for a geek like me. It had wrestling, it had Ninja Turtles, it had horror movie stuff. So excited to find that in my neighborhood. So I'll be going back to see what other kind of schlock they have over there. Let's see. I'll continue with the movies and then I'll go into the video games. I forgot to talk about this one. My Boo. So I remember watching this one it was on Amazon Prime years ago. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I think I was just bored, and I watched it on Amazon Prime, and it's probably the most low budget, worst acted like movies I've ever seen. I actually found a seller on eBay that had, I guess he has a lot of these. So I like messaged him and we kind of negotiated back and forth, and he was able to give me, I think, like 5 for $25, which for this movie is like $25 too much. But I had to send it to my friends. I have some friends, Tylord Stevenson and the PWM from DVDs, Nuts and Popcorn. We have a thing where we send each other movies, and I was like, man, I gotta send them my Boo. I think the PWM wound up throwing this in the dumpster or taking it to Goodwill, but Tylord actually saw it and he didn't look very impressed. I don't know why I own it. I think I just own it just because of how bad it is. There's a scene in the movie where it's just so low budget. There's a scene in the movie. So just to give a little bit of the synopsis, this girl is pretty much being stalked by, I guess that's supposed to be him right there. This guy that knew her when they were in high school, but now they're grown up. Now I don't know if they're in college. I don't remember. It's been a while. But he starts like stalking her. He's obsessed with her. And there's like the scene I always remember was, I think she's on the phone with him, with the stalker guy. And you know how like somebody will be on the phone and they're talking, and then you'll hear the other person talking, like they dub in the audio or whatever. No, this one, the girl's like on the phone talking, and then you can hear like the guy was like behind the couch in that same room that she was, and he's responding to her but it's like really bad. Like, why wouldn't they just record his audio and edit it in? But it was like he was in the same room with her, but behind a couch, like responding to her, but as if he was on the phone. Really bad. I recommend it, but maybe with some drinks. So that's my Boo. Swig of beer for the working man. Next one was actually a Tylord recommendation. Paradise Alley, starring Sylvester Stallone. So I don't know what we were talking about, wrestlers in movies or something, and Tylord was like, "Oh, you need to watch Paradise Alley," and I was like, "What's Paradise Alley?" And he's like, "Oh, it's all about wrestling." So I bought it on Amazon. I think it was like $10 or something. And I gotta say, it's a pretty cool movie. I watched it this week too. Essentially, these three guys, like Stallone's the one in the middle. They're brothers, and Stallone kind of plays like essentially he's kind of like a carny, kind of like a hustler. He's just always trying to find ways to make money. Like in the beginning, he he uses his brother to, like, he made like a $100 bet, like, oh, I bet you my brother can beat your guy in an arm wrestling challenge. I bet you $100. Stallone didn't even have the $100 to bet it, but he was just banking on his brother winning, and that's kind of essentially the whole movie. His brother is this dude right here. Hold on, this dude right here, which is like kind of like a big dude, and he's essentially starts using him to, like, as a wrestler, challenging other wrestlers, and pretty much making money off of his brother. His brother's kind of like very like naive and very naive, very young, but he's like a big dude. I think his gimmick in the movie's King Salami. Yeah, you can see he's wearing like a vest with salami, so that's like his gimmick. I don't know if it was King Salami or the Salami Kid. I'll call him King Salami. But pretty much he starts using his brother, and then this other guy, he's like the older brother. He's kind of like always looking out for King Salami, and him and Stallone have kind of like a strained relationship because the older brother, he's trying to like, hey, you know what, why are you like doing that to our little brother? Like, you're just trying to make money off of him. And Stallone's like, he's kind of like, like a carny. He's like, I don't know, we could make a lot of money. He'll be fine. He's big, he's strong. And I gotta say, in the beginning, I was kind of getting bored by it, and I was like, oh man, I think this movie's starting to bore me. But I think as the movie progressed, I was like, oh, I'm kind of like digging the relationship between the brothers, because as the Stallone's using the King Salami brother to kind of go through the ranks and make money. The older brother is the one that actually starts getting like kind of like power hungry and greedy, and he starts becoming like, well, I guess he becomes like his like manager, I guess his I don't know what you would call it, like his manager, and he starts getting greedy and he starts getting cocky, and he starts putting his younger brother in danger, and Stallone kind of becomes like the one that's like, hey, like, I think we're crossing the line. Like, like our brother's starting to get injured, like he's starting to get messed up. But anyways, it gets to the end, and I didn't realize till the end that Terry Funk was the bad guy. So he's Terry Funk, the wrestler's in the movie throughout, but I don't know. In the beginning, he's wearing like a hat, so I didn't know it was Terry Funk. But yeah, at the end of the last battle, it's King Salami versus, what was Terry Funk's name? Ted DiBiase was in this? What the hell? I don't remember Ted DiBiase in this. I gotta ask Tylord where Ray Stevens. I don't remember that either. Yeah, but Terry Funk is like kind of like the final boss, and it's actually a really cool fight at the end. Like, you can tell, for those that know that who Terry Funk is, you could tell that he was like trying to protect the business, because it looked like he was laying his stuff in. Like, he was really hammering King Salami, and the match is really cool because I guess they're wrestling like an open roof place, and it's raining. So every time they hit like a suplex or they hit like a Russian leg sweep, you see like the water like splash up in slow motion, and it's a really cool match actually. I wonder if what I was wondering while watching it, I was like, I wonder if the King Salami guy was like a pro wrestler, because he kind of held his own in the match. But yeah, it's a really cool movie. I would recommend it. Paradise Alley, definitely keeping it on my shelf. Another swig of beer for the working man. All right. Next, I'm going to go to a few games I picked up. I don't have a whole lot to say about them because I haven't played them. But one of my pickups, I picked up Alice Madness Returns. For the PS3. I've heard a lot of good things about this one, so I just decided, I got it like really cheap. I resell on eBay, so I bought it like in a large bundle, and I'm like, yeah, I should just keep it. Maybe check it out one day. I have a giant backlog, so I don't know. Hopefully, I get to it one day. But that's a keeper. I got this one. I also got this in the giant bundle I bought, Silent Hill. To be honest, it's like, I don't know if you can see it yet, but it's like freaking scratched to hell. So honestly, I don't even know if it's gonna work. But I want to keep it because I have Silent Hill 2 and 3. Is that the one that's on the 360? Silent Hill. Yeah, I have my games over here, but Silent Hill 2 and 3, the HD collection. So I don't have Silent Hill 1, so I might as well keep it. I know it's a pricier title. And on it, like I said, I don't know if it's even gonna work, but hopefully if it does, I can play it one day. Add it to the back of the queue. Another game picked up from the same bundle. Top secret episode. Gold 13. I kind of picked this one up because of Tylord too. Tylord Stevenson on YouTube. He did what did he do? Like a video on if you like building an NES collection with $100, and he had this on his list, and it reminded me like, oh, I remember playing this one as a kid, and thinking it was like super mature when I was a kid because I know there's a couple of scenes like little NES cutscenes where they imply that he goes to bed with a lady, and yeah, and the same bundle that I purchased, it was there. I was like, I should just keep it. It's not an expensive game, so that'd be cool to own it and maybe revisit it one day. Yeah, so those are my pickups. So next, I'm gonna go to some unboxings. First up, just go with whatever's on top. Slim Jim, but these aren't your beef sticks. Spicy beef sticks. This is a Macho Man Randy Savage figure. It's an elite Mattel figure. I've actually had this for a couple of years, and I never opened it just because not until now do I have room to display my figures. But also, I thought it looked kind of cool in the box. Like, if you guys have ever bought Slim Jims from like Smart and Final, they would come in a box like this. I remember one time in middle school, like I went and I bought like the whole box of Slim Jims and ate like all the Slim Jims like probably in the span of a week. But yeah, I thought it looked really cool in the box. But honestly, I'm more of I like to take out my figures or my dolls as my wife would call them. I don't like having them like just in the box for the most part, so I'm like, what the hell? Might as well open it now that I'm doing like kind of like these unboxing videos on YouTube. But I was looking at the box today, and it's kind of cool because it has like nutrition facts. Like if it was an actual food product, and it says meat 100%, spice 100%, juicy taste 100%, excitement 100%, macho madness 100%, boredom 0%, snap 1,000%. It like made me very reminiscent of those Macho Man commercials where he would need a little excitement, snap into a Slim Jim. Yeah, very cool. And right here, like in fine print, it says percent daily values are based on activities that cause Macho Man Randy Savage to explode through nearby walls and eat Slim Jims with a severe intensity. I just thought it's cool, but what the hell? We're gonna break this open. See what it's all about. Use my box cutter. Hopefully I don't get into the figure. Ripping this box. Oh, I already see. He looks crazy. Oh, and he comes like in a box, inside of a box. But maybe I'll just keep it like this. It's got Macho Man. He's actually holding some Slim Jims. Sorry, I have like a little ring light. It's causing like a glare. Need to figure that out one day, how to do like decent lighting. But you see Macho Man holding the Slim Jims. That is really cool. Now I'm glad I took him out. Because then you get the full effect. You get the Macho Man with his Slim Jim gear, holding the Slim Jims. I might actually keep it like this for a while. I think it actually looks pretty cool like this. And like I said, I usually like to open the figures, but this one's like, you know, sometimes these figures are hard to stand, and like a little thing like a Slim Jim box you might lose. So I think for now I'm going to leave it like this. But pretty awesome. Pretty awesome to have this figure. I don't know if it's it's not a new figure. It came out a few years ago, but I bought it like pretty quickly once it came out. So I don't know. I don't know if the price has gone up, but it doesn't matter because I wouldn't sell this anyway. Another swig of beer. Let's see, what's my next box? Next box is I bought a bust. Jason Voorhees bust off of Instagram from this guy I follow. His name is A New Kind of Fear. A New Kind of Fear, I think, altogether on Instagram. And he makes like really cool masks, like replica masks of like horror characters. He makes like busts of horror characters, but usually it's kind of out of my price range because they're kind of like life-size busts. So they're like $300 or $400. Don't quote me on that, but you know they're expensive figures because he hand makes them. It's not like, you know, like they're mass produced, but I saw he started making like these little busts of Jason, which Jason Voorhees that's my guy. That's my favorite horror slasher or horror character in general. Oh man, this is really cool. So I saw that he made some little like mini busts that are, you know, more affordable for me. And I kind of just had to jump on one. I'll show you guys the bust right now once I put it together. But yeah, as soon as I saw that, you know, he made little ones and, you know, they weren't, you know, super expensive, I was like, man, I kind of have to jump on one. You know, I got the itch. Get myself a little Jason Voorhees bust. I don't know how delicate these are. Oh man, that is like super cool. Oh, let me put this together. I'll show you guys. Oh baby. Check this out. Little handmade bust of Jason Voorhees from. You can see that the blood, it's even like kind of glossy. That is fucking cool. Yeah, the detail on this is really, really cool. So it's the reason I wanted to get it too, it's because it's my favorite Friday the 13th movie. It's Final Chapter Jason. So I thought, if I'm gonna buy any of his busts, it's gotta be Final Chapter. So yeah, so this mask, it's actually separate. Let me do the little unveiling. Unmask him. Check that out. A face only a mother could love right there. That is fucking cool. Really, like the detail. I think the stupid light doesn't do it justice, but it's really, really cool. So I'm like really happy with this. I say that this movie's my favorite, but now looking at this one, I don't know. If he puts up other ones, I might have to get on it because I also love the look of Jason from Jason Lives. I love the look from the Jason Takes Manhattan, Jason Goes to Hell. You know, my buddy P Double M doesn't like it, but I think it's cool. But I don't know, but maybe it's one of those rabbit holes I don't want to go down because it's an expensive one. Maybe I'll just keep this guy. But I'm happy just with having this one. This one's really cool. I have like a little shrine right here to Jason Voorhees, so maybe one day I'll show that. But that's where he's gonna go. All right, last but not least, my buddy Tylord Stevenson on YouTube sent me a package. And like I mentioned, we usually send each other movies, video games. Myself, Tylord Stevenson, P Double M from the DVDs Nuts and Popcorn channel, YouTube channel. We'll send each other stuff. I just love that he put Steve Tenta, which I know Tenta is not his last name, and then to Mario Tiburon. So I don't know if he's trying to say, Tiburon, and Tiburon in Spanish is shark. So, Mario Tiburon. I don't know if he's saying, okay, you're the shark, but I'm Steve Tenta. I don't know if he's referencing John Tenta, which was also the shark in WCW. I don't know, Tylord. Are you saying it's a shark versus shark thing? Are you saying you're the shark, or are you saying you're the avalanche, or the Canadian earthquake? Anyway. Let's check out what he sent me. Doing it live here. And right away, I see a bunch of VHS tapes. He knows I love VHS tapes. And what is this? What's this? So he sends me Glory Days of Wrestling, greatest matches. Right away I recognize Haystacks Calhoun, the Tolos brothers. I have no idea who that is. Yukon Eric, no idea. Kaylor Brooks, no idea. Fritz von Erlich, is that supposed to be Fritz von Erich, the dad of the Texas Tornado and them? Well, I'll check this out. It's got some, I think it has some the original Nature Boy Buddy Rogers matches. He was the guy that Ric Flair kind of copied. I'm down to check this out. Thanks for this one, Tylord. Okay, next up, Attitude Era right here. Rebellion. I think this is when they would wrestle like in the UK. Is that what Rebellion was? Well, it does say never seen before in the USA. So I'm guessing this is that. It was like a European pay-per-view or event that they would do. So this says Kurt Angle versus Stone Cold versus The Rock versus Rikishi, Undertaker versus Benoit, Hardy Boys versus Bull Buchanan and The Godfather, Chris Jericho versus Kane, Ivory versus Lita, William Regal versus Crash, Steve Blackman versus Saturn, Dudley Boys versus TNA versus Edge and Christian, The One Billy Gunn versus and China versus Eddie and Dean, Bradshaw versus Val Venis. Yeah, check this out. Thanks for this one, Tylord. Next one on here is the Royal Rumble. I believe this is Royal Rumble 2000, if I'm not mistaken. This one has like actually a pretty good match. Triple H versus Cactus Jack. I remember that was a really good match. Oh, and also the Hardy Boys versus the Dudley Boys. That was a cool match too. Then the Royal Rumble. I don't remember the Royal Rumble being that great. I think pretty sure that's the one where The Rock wins, but then the next night on Raw they show that The Rock's feet touch the ground, so they wound up adding the Big Show to like the WrestleMania main event. Then they added Triple H and Mick Foley, even though Mick Foley lost a retirement match, and it's a little weird, but cool, yeah. You know what? I'm not actually a big Attitude Era fan. I was a bigger WCW fan, but I do like two of these matches on here, so I'll keep this one too. Let's see what else. And he just sent me a blank VHS tape. Yeah, I know some, like if you sell these in a pack, they can be worth money. Like people will buy these. Oh, I'm getting hot with this stupid ring light. All right. Another blank tape. I might actually keep this. I think it would be cool. I have like, I don't see behind my big head. Yeah, right there I have like a little CRT TV that I got from a yard sale. And I that's where I watch my VHS tapes. It has one of those TVs where it has the VHS connected to it already. So maybe I could display it there. Thanks, Tylord. Now he also sent me some Blu-rays and some DVDs. Let's go through the DVDs first. DOA, Dead or Alive, sorry. Which is, I think this is based on the video game. I know that PWM was watching this one of the other weeks, and he was telling us it's really good. The reason I laugh is because I bought this one last week, and I was gonna send it to you in a package. So I'm guessing you've seen it. So I might send it to I think I know who I can send this to. Oh, very clean disc. But I'm gonna check this one out. Maybe I'm meant to watch this movie. I don't know. I want to say I played a Dead or Alive on the OG Xbox. I think it was like a launch title, wasn't it? Dead or Alive. It might have been the only one I've ever played. Gary Daniels and Blood Moon. What is this about? Ken O'Hara is a mind hunter, a serial killer specialist enlisted to find the mass murderer intent on killing the strongest fighters in New York City. Trying to catch this cunning and clever killer is the hardest assignment Ken has ever had. Now the moon is rising again, and he must use all of his resources to hunt down the murderer, or he may be the next to die. You know, Tylord knows the names of all like the actors, directors, key grip, catering. So, and he's always brings up Gary Daniels. So far, Tylord, the movies that you've sent me, I haven't really been that disappointed with a lot of them. I think there's very few that I've watched that I'm like, oh, this shit sucks. I think that Aliens Are from LA, that one I didn't like. But everything, I think a lot of the ones you've sent me I've actually enjoyed. Even the ones that you sent me as a joke. Like the Mexican wrestler one. Alright, next one. Oh, I actually kind of wanted this one. La Llorona, The Curse of La Llorona. Funny enough, I was at I found like a horror, kind of like a horror shop where I live here in Palmdale, and I saw this, and I was gonna buy it, and it was $8, and something about me was like, I don't know how I feel about paying $8 for The Curse of La Llorona, because I remember watching this one and it wasn't that great, but I'm Mexican, so in our culture, La Llorona is kind of like she was the equivalent to the boogeyman. When I would go to Mexico, they would always talk about La Llorona. They would talk about like, oh, sometimes we hear her cry. Like when I would go to Mexico, I was like a kid, and that shit would scare me. Like my cousin was like, yeah, sometimes at night we've heard La Llorona cry. So I don't know if she was just trying to fuck with me because I was a little kid, but it's kind of like a nostalgia thing for me to have this, even though the movie was kind of shit. But cool, thank you for sending me this, because I was like, man, should I bought it for $8? But now I don't have to. I'm keeping that one. The Purge. I actually have this one. So I think I know a certain young lady on YouTube that might actually want this. I'm gonna send it to her. But I'm actually a big fan of this movie, The Purge. I've never seen any of the sequels, but I do remember seeing this one in the theater when it came out, and I actually really like it. So thanks for this, but I'm gonna pass this one along because I actually have this one. Oh, another one I have. Annabelle Creation. Yeah, this one. Did you get these from the Dollar Tree, or as PWM calls it, a $1.25 bush? Because this one's sealed too. But I actually have this one too. Hey, look. Yeah, I actually have it, but I don't have it sealed. So I might keep this one and pass the other one along. I'm actually, a fan of the Annabelle movies. I think they're pretty cool. I think this is Creation is the prequel, right? Pretty sure it's the prequel. But I'm a big fan of the Annabelle movies and that whole universe, the Conjuring universe. And it's the last one? Oh no, two more. What is this? This is Maria in Spanish. Contacto en Francia 2. Is this the French Connection Part 2? Let me read it. Gene Hackman. Oh, I was gonna start reading it in English. Forgetting this is in Spanish. I was like, what's repite? It's repite. I'm gonna read it in Spanish. What the hell? Test my Spanish reading skills here. Gene Hackman repite el papel que lo hizo ganar el Oscar como Popeye Doyle, el detective neoyorquino de gran olfato. Oh, so I'm not gonna read the whole thing. I'm like not the best Spanish reader, but this is actually it is the French Connection Part 2 in Spanish. It makes it even more hilarious. I might have to watch it in Spanish. So that's one of the movies that you sent me, Tylord, the French Connection, that I had never seen, and I actually really liked that movie. So, man, maybe I'll watch it in Spanish, I guess. And then last, but not least, or it might be least. What is this? It's El Chicano. And I recognize the name, and I'm like, George Lopez was in an action movie, or is this a horror movie? El Chicano. Our streets, our fight, our hero. Let's see what the synopsis is. When LAPD Detective Diego Hernandez, played by Raul Castillo, is assigned a career-making case investigation, a vicious cartel, he uncovers links to his brother's supposed suicide and a turf battle that's about to swallow his neighborhood. Torn between playing by the book and seeking justice, he resurrects the mass street legend El Chicano. Now out to take down his childhood buddy turned gang boss, played by David Castañeda. Sounds familiar. He sets off a bloody war to defend his city and avenge his brother's murder. What is George Lopez playing this? I like that, in the back, how they have quotes? It just says riveting. Can't really tell, but it says riveting and intense. But it doesn't even say who said that. That's a sign of a great movie there. Unless the barcodes. You know what? I'm going to check this out. I'm probably going to regret it, but I'm a fan of George Lopez. And if I'm not mistaken, Chicano, I think technically I'm a Chicano. I think, right? A Chicano, I think, is when you're Mexican, but you were born here. You were born in the States. So who knows? It might be about my life story. Yeah, that's it, I guess. That's it for me, guys. Thanks, Tylord, for sending me that stuff. I think out of everything you've sent me, I might just not keep the ones I already own, like Annabelle and The Purge. I'm going to pass that along to a certain young lady. But otherwise, yeah, everything else I'm keeping. All right, guys. See you later. Take care.